Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. This is Aaron Outdoors vlog number 30, I forgot. 30 something. Doesn't matter, who cares? There's so much else going on. I had a lot on my mind too. Oh. As you may or may not know, as I have stated in past episodes many times before, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and I am part of a lot of Jehovah's Witness or ex-Jehovah's Witness groups on Facebook that have been really helpful and therapeutic in recovering from the trauma of that nightmare I was born into. And yeah, I've just been trying to connect with that more, with people like myself, because they're pretty much it. It's a very unique way to grow up. It's a very unique background to have. And unless you've experienced it, it's pretty much impossible to identify with. There's some things like it, but the flavor is so unique. There's just nothing really quite like it. Other than that, there are others that have nothing quite like them. So, the severity, the extremity of it, I guess it's the common ground would be with, like, say, I don't know what. I guess coming out of the Mormon, coming out of Amish. I'd say that's probably the closest thing. Leaving the Amish community. It's akin to that. Like, really. To the extent that they turned their back on education, Like, I wasn't just like that I couldn't afford to go to college or something. It was not just that it was discouraged. It was like, no, you're not going to college. When you get out of school, just get whatever regular job to support you enough to keep doing God's ministry. Going out door to door, Matthew 24:14. Go therefore and make disciples of people of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of I think that's the one, right? Where Jehovah's Witnesses really love it, because it's the one where the Bible directs you. It's the only thing that Jesus ever asked anybody to do. Go door to door and tell people about the coming destruction of Armageddon and their chance to live forever in a paradise like theirs after they clean up the mess God's gonna make, killing everybody on the planet. Yeah, a big whoop. So speaking of Armageddon and killing everyone on the planet, Russia, Ukraine. We've been talking about that a lot. I think probably one of the first things they said about it was, who gives a shit who governs Ukraine? Oh my God, there are so many unverified, unofficial, yet highly intriguing sides to this story. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even want to talk about it yet. There's a lot of information, a lot of it's compelling, and a lot of it seems legitimate. But I haven't had the chance yet to vet any of it. Because I've been so busy just taking it all in. I've been that's another reason why I haven't done any new vlogs lately, is I've been really busy taking in all the new information on the situation. There's a lot of great live news coverage on YouTube right now. If you're into getting the perspective from all sides, there's not a lot for Russia, honestly. But the Chinese state media and some of the India media, I'm not sure who funds it exactly, but it's pretty fair. It feels pretty fair to me. I wouldn't call it pro-Russia, but it's certainly not. They're not framing the Russians like the, the second coming of Hitler, which is what everyone else is framing it like. Um, all the think tanks are all abuzz. Oh, man, it's so weird. And I've run into a few other people that are online actually talking about it and apparently understanding it the way I am understanding it. And I'm trying hard not to just vibe with them because, oh, they agree with me. Because you got to be careful with that. It's the number one mistake when looking for truth, is falling into any kind of echo chamber of people who all agree with you. It's like, it's very nice. These people do agree with me. You take note of it. Definitely acknowledge it. Compare it very thoroughly with what you know. See if it adds anything to your case as far as like legitimate and verifiable facts, that sort of thing. So it's like, it usually is like a wealth of treasure trove of information anytime I find someone who's as open-minded about things as I am. They usually have really great sources. And so I've just found, well, I didn't just find, it's this guy that I've been following for a while, but I forgot that I followed him and I forgot why. And then I watched one of his videos about Russia, Ukraine, and now I remember why. It's called, his YouTube channel is called Blackstone Intelligence, and his name is Joe Morphonius or something like that. It's very interesting. I don't know if that's unfortunate or fortunate name. It contains the words kind of Morpheus and also phony, and I don't know. It's very interesting. Either way, he's a very interesting guy, and he appears to be like a totally independent, but actually like educated source of information on particularly Ukrainian affairs. He's done a lot of work abroad. He's worked on presidential campaigns. Appears to be a photographer. And when you listen to him talk, I like to think when I listen to someone speak, it's very easy for me to tell if they are looking at things with extreme bias, no bias, or anywhere in between. Smell it immediately. It's one of the, I guess you can call it a plus of being raised in a cult and realizing that, your entire world is a lie, and, having the strength to pull yourself out of it on your own, recognize that things don't work out, don't make sense, questions aren't being asked, when they aren't answered adequately or at all, or they're just flat out, oh no, right when a car's coming. It's like these squirrels, they're baiting my dogs out in front of cars. That is not cool. That's fucked up. Squirrels are baiting my dogs to run out in front of cars. You two are suckers for it too. Both of you, get down here, right now. Come on. Get back here, right now. Come on. Get down here. You're being naughty. Stop being naughty and get back here. That squirrel tried to get you killed. Don't be suckers for squirrels. Don't be suckers for squirrels. They're out to get you. I swear to God, this really just happened. It's like, what are the odds? I can't prove it, but what are the odds? Like, that's the only car to have driven by me the whole time I've been walking right now. And the second a car's coming, some squirrel just randomly runs in front of my dogs, catches their attention, and they go ape shit for squirrels or anything with fur that's running around in the woods. It's cute and funny too at the same time. Athena loses her mind when she goes after deer. Like, she literally, like, you can see her, she does this weird like squeak and she hops. It's hilarious. Anyway, what was I? Yes, bias, media, news, Ukraine. Oh my God, so much. And very, 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 very anti-Putin. And not that Putin's an angel. He's a world leader, which means he's an asshole. They all are. There's no exception, he's certainly not one. There's very little exception, and he's certainly not one. At least I don't know. See, this is a weird thing. It's like you can only judge these people by their actions, and if you just look at the actions that we are told about, which, from what I understand, half the time isn't even a quarter. Half the time, it's not even a quarter of the story. Like, probably far more than that. Like, most of the time we're not privy to the fine details, and it's interesting because eventually, to a certain extent, we are. There's this whole thing with, like, all the things that were said and all the memos of presidential administrations, and they keep all that, and that's why each president gets their own library, because there's a library's worth of information that was generated while they're in office, and it's all supposed to be public record. Some of it gets sealed for a long time, but then after those presidents die and everybody involved has died and there's no longer any personal interest in it, they release that information. We get to find out what really happened. It's kind of a messed up way to be doing things in a country where the people are supposed to be informed and consenting and, involved in their governance. But, what the fuck do I know? Quite a bit, apparently. Anyway, so yeah, this guy, Joe, Blackstone Intelligence, Russia, Ukraine. Like I said, I don't even want to talk about it yet because there's still a lot. But it's not just Zelensky versus Putin. It's not just freedom-loving Ukrainians. There's some weird, bizarre stuff going on with weird, bizarre factions within the Ukrainian side. There's messed up stuff going on where apparently, like, women and children are being allowed to leave for the most part, but men are not being allowed to leave Ukraine. Like regular citizens, all males between the ages of like 18 and 60 or something. And they're leaving just boxes of guns everywhere. Like, this is what I have heard and have been shown on certain videos on YouTube and Twitter. You can see them too if you go to this guy's YouTube channel, Blackstone Intelligence. It's very easy to find if you search for it. Google will never show it to you voluntarily. That's why I tell people, you gotta say, the algorithm isn't a bad thing if you know it's there and you actively control it. You have to guide your algorithm rather than letting your algorithm guide you. Not that difficult to do, it's just a conscious effort, so. Anywho, so, yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff. And, okay, I am a lot more on board than I would have been in the past with the whole, like, go USA, this is where I was born, fuck it, right or wrong, But I would be like that if the things that we did actually benefited everyone in the country, okay? But they don't. They benefit some people in the country, and the rest of us have to fight and die for it, and work for it, and slave for it, and we never really get to benefit from it. So that kind of takes the wind out of my little nationalistic flag-waving sails, You really want me to be into it, support it, and fight for it, and die for it, and all that shit, then we, the people, should be equal benefactors of the spoils. But we're not. So it's screwy, and I don't like it at the moment. Because they're not like any media from the American side. Pretty much all think tanks. I haven't seen what the Quincy Institute is saying about it just yet. That's a weird situation. Because apparently this Quincy Institute, which is one of the newer think tanks on the block, is funded by George Soros. And that's weird because he seems to usually fund stuff that causes war, not tries to prevent it, which is what the Quincy Institute appears to be about. At least that's the story they tell. Anyway. But it's like definitely all military contractors out there are like, woohoo, and NATO's like, woohoo, we're back, baby, because they were on their way out. They technically really stopped needing to exist after communism fell in Russia. But you know, that's the thing with government and militaries. Like once they're there, they're there. the instances of military buildup and especially of government expansion rolling back are virtually non-existent. The government gets rolled out. It doesn't get rolled back. Rolled out. Military gets rolled out. Doesn't get rolled back. Gets rolled back. Okay, wind thing. Anyway. Yeah, so it's very complicated, and all I can say is, definitely you got to branch out from the Western media machine that it is, because it's very efficient at pushing its narrative across the globe, despite the large amount of information that is now available to people from real sources. I'll tell you one of the differences I notice immediately when I listen to someone who is looking at things from an unbiased point of view, just trying to figure out what's going on, and when I listen to someone who is trying to infect you or impress upon you their point of view, such as that you will see things their way, no matter what's going on, really. And the people that are into the truth, when they talk, their speech is littered. It just rains facts, verifiable facts, things you can look up, videos you can listen to and watch right then and there. Not like, oh, so-and-so said such and such, or this random person said this thing. And they don't fill your head. But the people who are just trying to push a narrative, all they do is give you opinion. This is why we think Putin is doing this, and this is why Putin's an evil piece of crap, and this is why Putin sucks, and the Ukrainians are just oppressed, poor, defenseless, helpless people, and we need to go in there and save them immediately with all of our weapons. And there you have it. What's it all about? Selling guns. It's about selling guns. It's what America's main export is now. It's what we do. We export war. And again, I can almost get behind it if we all got to benefit from it. But, the people that are guiding the whole thing are greedy douches, which is why they're cool with making their fortunes off of destruction, mayhem, death, and chaos. I'm sure they're really fun at a barbecue and whatnot, but well, their business practices suck for most people. They're great for them and theirs, for their circle of friends. They're all having a great time. It's yay for them. And if you can get into that sphere of influence and find some way to make a living off the excess of those people, those are your opportunities, real opportunities in the world, really, only. As long as they have control. And seems like they will for the foreseeable future. They see anything happening to stop that. There's always voices of reason. They're out there, they speak. The John J. Mearsheimers, the Quincy Institutors, the Vladimir Posners, the Joe Morphoniuses. But they're few and far between and very difficult to find. And even fewer people are interested in looking in the first place, or even know that there's something to look for. So I can't get mad at people. They don't even know that there's anything else to know. They're bombarded constantly from pretty much all angles. It's different. I forget how different it is living in a city. How much more media bombardment there is for people. I live out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, around no one at all. And I'm very careful about filtering my media input. Hey, Athena, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. So, but it's different now. Okay, so I heard somebody talking somewhere. The ideas stick, the names don't always. Anyway, fellow whoever was speaking about how major technological advancements in human history have been knocking away at and breaking down the walls of those that would seek to oppress and control all of humanity for their own personal gains. Which is what's going on. There's no grand conspiracy. I mean, there is, but it's not like... I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Whatever it is, the core of it is humans are humans. And when presented with the opportunity to have absolute financial and physical security for them, for their friends and their immediate family and whatnot, they're gonna take it. And when you've been able to grasp that level of power over an entire planet, and you've had generations upon generations to build upon that experience and that infrastructure, there's a snowballing effect on your unfair advantage over all of humanity. And I think that, I suspect, I don't believe anything, but at this moment I suspect that is the situation we as humans are in here on planet Earth. So I don't wish ill on these. I mean, despite what I may say sometimes, that I've said in the past, because when you find out these things, there's a level of rage that you have to deal with for a while. It's like, what? You got to get through that, and I'm still working through it. That's why it's good for me to do these talks too. You got to get through the rage, because I mean it when I say it. That fighting doesn't get you anywhere, and if you try and take out who the leaders and the rulers as they are today, all you're going to do is make enemies who, in one way or another, one day or another, are going to come back to bite you. If not them personally, then their philosophies will be resurrected by somebody, even if it's 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years down the road. And they will overthrow whatever wonderful, beautiful utopia you thought you built. And that seems also to be what's happening. I don't know. There's so much we don't know. And so much we'll never know. So much history has been destroyed forever. I can't imagine the incalculable loss of the Library of Alexandria. I shudder to think the knowledge that was just... And all the wars we have ever since then, this unspoken of collateral damage of war, is destruction of history, destruction of information, destruction of culture, destruction of our past. And this, more than anything, I would say, probably contributes to our historical amnesia as a species. Like, now what are you two doing? Don't get debated. The squirrels are debating you. Stop it. Don't be suckers. Get over here. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. It's so gorgeous here. If you live in the city and you have the opportunity to come out into nature, as much as I want to get out of it and live in the city now so I can be more of a part of things, those of you in the cities now, you got to take a break every once in a while and come here and think and enjoy the peace and the quiet. It's essential to sanity. can save you, especially if you feel you're going crazy. Get back to nature. Bring your toys with you. Bring your solar panel. Don't lose all contact. There's no reason for that. It's ridiculous. But have the option to shut it off sometimes. There are answers in the silence. I bid you farewell.